Blog Talk Radio.
Archangels, ghosts, and Bigfoot, oh my. It's just another night for Supernatural Girls. Real stories, real answers to life's biggest supernatural mysteries. And now for another exciting interview with paranormal experts from this world and others. Here's your host, paranormal researcher Patricia Baker, on the one, the only, Supernatural Girls.
Welcome, everyone, to another exciting episode of Supernatural Girls Radio. I'm your host, Patricia Baker. It is October 18th, 2023. And PK, how are you doing tonight?
Absolutely fine. It has a cool breeze today. Not cool, but cool. For anything under 100 is cool.
Wow. Yeah. Very nice. Very nice indeed.
It's a delightful day for a change, for sure.
Well, we're having good weather here in New England. It's been fairly temperate, and this is the warmest October I can remember. But I think that's all going to change after next week. It's going to start to shift to cold temperatures.
I bet it's absolutely gorgeous with your foliage.
It is. Oh, I love it when these leaves get so vibrant. Oh, my God, it is. Halloween time of year is beautiful here. Really gorgeous.
It really is. I go by the pictures.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. We were talking earlier today a little bit about Sedona, and right this time of year, it's perfect up there because it's cooling. Things are changing, and it's spirituality is rampant, shall we say, with all the changes that are ongoing artistically, intuitively. We've got healers of all sorts ongoing. And what a powerful place that would be at this time of year, because the colors are so absolutely gorgeous for a change. And it's almost worth me thinking of making the drive up there. Then I keep thinking, no, by the time I get up there, it'll be overcrowded, and I'll want to hit all the shops, and I can't do that anymore. So the heck with them. I'll just see it online and see the good stuff that way.
There. And we'll be talking about it tonight with our incredible guest who we love so much. Tom Dongo is with us. We're going to bring him on in a few minutes, and he's going to give us all the dope on the supernatural side of Sedona. And we've got this Vanishing Convoys thing. I've never heard of it. He's going to explain all of that. So we've got a great show for everybody tonight, as always. I
can't wait to hear what he's got to say, because this is certainly a treat for me, because I'm too lazy to go up there.
I know. We got to come on, Tom. Fill you in.
All to make right.
So what do you have for us tonight, PK?
Well, when you take a look at what's going on right now, everyone please remember this month is a preview of the coming year, and it's going to affect all of us. It's about our finances, being in charge, being in control, but more than anything else, what we're going to do with what we have, or overspending, or trying to take control. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This time until this time next year, it's all about investment, lack of, loss of money, gaining money. Nothing is going to be cheap, and everything's going to cost us one form or another. So play pretty with one another so that you don't be the master of your own mistakes.
Yeah, we don't want to make mistakes. It's hard to know what to do with everything.
Try searching in the Apple Watch app on your phone.
Oh, what is that? I do not know.
I had my Apple Watch on, and the silly thing started talking to us.
Oh, okay, you.
How dare you do that?
I was wondering if I'm
not invited.
We're being invaded.
Oh,
my goodness.
I was trying to figure out where it was coming from. And I forgot. I usually take it off when we talk. Ay. Well, that's entertainment for the year.
Yeah, gee. Okay, well, I wanted to also bring everybody's attention to our supernaturalgirls.com homepage, where we have all kinds of natural health remedies, take a look there. We've got those vitamins that are liquid. So if you're tired of taking pills, these are liposomal, so they absorb quickly into the system. They're really terrific. I had a reason to take some glutathione the other day, and they had some little packages that they had sent me, and I tried them. They actually tasted really good, which was a treat. But besides that, they worked really well. Glutathione is not easily absorbed orally usually, but again, if you have liposomal vitamins, then you get a whole different experience. So take a look on our homepage for that, for the Energy Oxygen Machine, again, leading edge from Germany, Dr. Weber's Endoband Laser Watch, and gosh, we have a special water there as well, super hydrating. I don't know how they do it, but somehow they do it. And you will get a discount if you order from our homepage. We don't sell these things, but we do offer them to you on our webpage where you can order them directly to the company, from the company, and get a discount. So we're happy to give you that offer. And we'll be having more products coming up in the near future as well. So, Tom Dongo, he is our dear friend and a widely recognized luminary as one of America's leading experts on the paranormal, UFOs, extraterrestrials, and Sedona, Arizona. He's the author of 8 books that focus on the paranormal, including his bestseller, the revised edition of Merging Dimensions, which describes the incredibly strange paranormal happenings which took place on the Bradshaw Ranch in Sedona, Arizona. And he's been on the show talking about just that. There was a lot going on there. Now, Tom has appeared on over 36 national and international television shows. He has been on over 40 international talk shows, reaching 17 million listeners worldwide. He speaks widely and was also a featured speaker at the International UFO Congress. And he is with us tonight. Lucky us, everybody. So, Tom, welcome to the show.
Well, I was glad to be on again.
Great to have you here.
Yeah.
And so you've got some great stuff to talk about, some that we have never heard of before. It's new for us. So let's see. Where do we want to start? Do we want to start with Sedona or the Convoys or what?
Well, let's start with Maine. I'm from New England, and I'm in Cottonwood, Arizona right now. It was 100 degrees today, which is extremely unusual. So I'll trade with you. I'll trade with you for a while. How's that?
Okay. No problem.
But the Convoys. It happened again last week. I lived in Sedona for 33 years, so I've been around here. I've had my nose into just about everything, and I think that George Knapp had a show on today about scientists now think we really are in a simulation or projection, like the Matrix, and I'm beginning to wonder because this stuff that happens with the convoys, they're some of these convoys. I've interviewed a few people, and it's absolutely bizarre. Sometimes there's up to 200 big trucks in these convoys that are seen on the back canyon roads, but there's nowhere they can go. I mean, unless there's entrances that open up, so they can go into the rocks, the red rocks. But that's highly unlikely because the roads really don't go that far. So these convoys, and last week another one, a small one happened going into Boynton Canyon, which basically there's nothing there but the Enchantment Resort 5-star hotel. And the employees that saw these trucks said that the tires on these things were huge. I mean, it just didn't make any sense, in even how they got in there. So that's kind of typical of what, and are these trucks something paranormal? That's the thing, because they're I've interviewed a bunch of people about this, and these convoys have never been seen. I have never run across one person that has seen these convoys out on the big roads, Interstate 17, the big road 89A through Sedona, or 179. That they've never been seen on the paved roads, but they're seen in the canyon roads, the dirt roads. And I interviewed one guy that was camped out there, and he said about 100 of these trucks. They were all white. They were semi tractor trailer trucks, and they had United Nations painted on all of them.
Oh no!
Yeah. So anyway, it's just something's going on here in Sedona. That the History Channel did a big study of this stuff, and they were pretty much as mystified as I am. And their camera crew was here for 6 weeks studying this stuff, probably at an enormous expense. So anyway, they ran into a lot of bizarre stuff. Their laser signals will bounce back to them. So that probably indicates the U.S. military has something to do with this.
It sounds that
I'll get
way.
back. Yeah.
Ours is somebody else's.
Well, probably ours. I don't know. It might be Chinese. I don't know. But,
but I mean, we have so many things coming. The extraterrestrial, whatever. Is it all earthbound, or is it coming from other sources?
Oh no, there's definitely extraterrestrials here. I've I think I would say there are 5. I don't like to call them underground bases. They're underground installations here, and the U.S. military is directly involved in some of these. They've been seen separately by themselves and with extraterrestrials. When I first moved here, there were about 8 people that were real serious researchers. I'm basically I'm not. There's about 3 or 4 new ones now that are doing a great job. They're out there all the time. So it's just very weird stuff. But anyway, to get back to these convoys, they and like I say, I've talked to a number of witnesses, probably at least a half a dozen, who witnessed this stuff, saw it happen. And they just, stood there and watched these convoys of trucks going by. And they usually said there was something different about them, bizarre. In a woman, they just looked different. I mean, to me, that indicates paranormal somehow. And a woman actually followed one of these convoys. She was pretty brave. And she said these things weren't normal. They were too big. They took up the whole road. She followed them as far as she dared to go into the canyons, and came back. She was pretty brave. But she said they were just too big. I mean, they were military type vehicles, but they just looked strange, looked different. And that's generally what people say, that there's something not normal about them. So where in the heck do they go?
Yeah, and Tom, do you think it could be some kind of a time slip, that they're popping in from another time or dimension, traveling these canyon roads, and then they go back to where they came from?
Yeah, I've been wondering if it's another dimension involved somehow. But how could it possibly work? Where do they come from? Where do they go? But it's bizarre. I mean, it's beyond. Well, I've been studying this stuff for 33 years, and I don't know. I don't have any idea.
Does anybody, when they see these trucks, do they see the people inside? Do they identify that there's humans inside?
No, that's a good question. No, they've never said that they've seen drivers, not once.
Has anybody taken pictures of all of these vehicles?
No, the thing it is, even if they have a camera, they're so stunned at the appearance of this stuff, they forget they've got a camera. Or the camera doesn't work.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So I interviewed 3 women that it was late at night, and they hadn't been. I asked them, any of you guys smoking dope or drunk? It was pretty late at night. And,
are you guys
said,
drunk?
No, yeah.
But no, they were sober, so this is what they saw.
Yeah.
And I don't know Arizona very well, but I have stayed at Miamo, which is right next to Enchantment.
Oh, yeah.
So I know what you're talking about. And yeah, there's like nowhere out there for them to go.
Yeah. Well, those trucks were seen right near Miamo. They've completely rebuilt Miamo. They put about $50 million into it, so it's a real fancy joint now. I think they charge $4,000 a night to stay there.
Oh my!
Yes, yeah, they do. They do now.
Yeah.
Not when I was there, but they do now. Yeah, it's very swanky. But like you said, there's nowhere for them to go. What about the authorities? Have you talked to the police or any of the Native American officials about this?
Yeah, I've had. I for a long time. I'm 79 now, so I'm really slowing down. I just don't get out much at all. But I've talked. I spent a. Oh, yeah.
You're a young person.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, thanks. I've worked with the Indians, the Apaches, the Navajos, the Zunis, and very closely, and the Hopis, and they're as baffled as everybody else is, particularly about dogmen, and dogmen are real. They're absolutely real, and they're. To me, they're werewolves. They're real werewolves. And I've asked the Indians about it. What do you guys think about this stuff anyway? And one of my best friends, he passed on last year. Cliff Mahudi. He was a Zuni elder, and he said, we just don't know. We all think it's something paranormal, but we don't know what it is. It was kind of like the skinwalkers, but they've got a better idea of what the skinwalkers are because they're more exposed than dogmen. But,
it's a part of the skinwalker thing is a part of their cultures in so many different tribes. They've encountered them over the years and actually have described how somebody can become one. Not that anyone should aspire to, but
No.
But they haven't seen. So you haven't talked to them about the convoys yet. We have.
Yeah. No, nobody has seen a driver. They don't mention that at all. But when they because somebody brought that up to me the other day. I said, well, how come nobody ever took pictures of these things? And I said, well, what if these are aliens, extraterrestrials, that are involved in this, and they can easily make you forget you've got a camera in your hand because they've done it to me. I had a video camera right in my hand and didn't think to film anything until it was all over. And I looked down, I've got a video camera in my hand that I didn't use. I could have got every second of it, but I didn't.
Oh, wow.
I didn't even think of the camera.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's well, there's a lot of stuff that it's just there's some bizarre stuff going on this planet right now that's especially around here because after the History Channel was here, and I was interviewed quite a bit on that, but at the time I might have had COVID, I don't know, but I was sick for the whole time they were here, so I didn't.
Oh no!
Oh my!
Yeah. So I didn't participate much, and but they tried flying drones, and the drones came back. They bounced off something and came back. Something sent the drones back. and those $1 million lasers that they use, it would put patterns in the sky, and something. They hit something, and the lasers hit something, and they never seen anything like it before. But it had the same frequency as the stuff that goes on at the Skinwalker Ranch. I think they said it was 6.7 hertz or something like that. Something very unusual. So they were pretty much as baffled as the rest of us are about that stuff. But it's pretty. And they confirmed that the History Channel confirmed they used ground penetrating radar, and I've seen a long time ago when the Bradshaws were still alive, they heard a tunnel being drilled under the ranch because everything was shaking. The water pipes were shaking, the windmill was shaking, and there was a big tunnel that was drilled under the ranch, and the History Channel confirmed that with ground penetrating radar. went right under the Bradshaw Ranch, and it came from Secret Canyon up to Jerome, which is way up on the hillside up here.
Right.
And I was told a long time ago that, as I wrote about this on the internet, it was a congressman, and he said, "Don't tell Tom Dongo who I am, but I'm going to tell you that he's right." But the tunnel system actually starts at Area 51, goes to Las Vegas, because I thought it started at Las Vegas.
Wow.
And then Area 51 to Las Vegas to the Navajo Army Depot, which is 6 miles by 5 miles, and it was a dump for ammunition and nuclear weapons. But I just a few days ago I read that that's changed. They're downsizing it because they don't need to put so much bombs and whatnot on that. But it does run underneath the Navajo Army Depot, the Secret Canyon, then straight across between Sedona and Cottonwood up to Jerome, and they've since drilled another tunnel from Jerome straight west because.
Well, who's doing this? So this is the government that's doing this. This is not ET that's doing these tunnels. Who's doing these tunnels?
Yeah, that's a good question. I knew the world expert on tunnels. He left this country. He's now living in Brazil, and I can't remember his name at the moment. But he, but he said that they're everywhere, everywhere. There's tunnels are running everywhere, and some of them, they can use high speed trains on them. So it's pretty strange.
Yeah, we've heard this before with the tunnels, and I have a friend who told me also he was out in New Mexico when they were creating some of these tunnels, but it was the government that was doing it, or the shadow government, one or the other. But it wasn't ET. It was maybe ETs were involved or in some way, but the government was behind it. But I've also, and PK, you and I both heard that there are 3 alien installations underneath Skinwalker Ranch, and that's one of the reasons why they have so much excitement there. And but again, it gets very confusing when we don't know who's doing what. I believe it's true that at Skinwalker they have 3 alien bases there. That's alien, and then Bradshaw Ranch, I don't know what is there, if it's alien or government or a combination of the two. But here's my thought. Let me throw this out at you, Tom, when it comes to these convoys, because this is so mysterious. I mean, it is possible that somebody's trying to move stuff because they have these huge trucks. Something's got to be in them. So giving them a camouflage, like you say, they can, the aliens can make you think you don't have a camera when it's right in your hand. They can also make you think you're looking at something when it's not what you think it is. So I'm wondering if somebody's moving things and they just want everybody to think it's just UN trucks when it's really camouflage for something else. And because, like everybody's saying, these trucks are too big. Like, for this reality, they're too big. And it's not making sense. But it sounds like somebody's moving something. It could be alien. It could be ET. It could be interdimensional. Who the heck knows? But it sounds like they're trying to move things from one place to another. And there may be either an underground installation that nobody knows about in Boynton Canyon or slightly thereafter, or somebody has created a new area that's impenetrable except for these trucks. Just wanted to put it out there. Who knows? We can speculate all night, but
good
weird.
Point.
Yeah, well, the reason that people, almost everybody I interviewed, said they just didn't look right. There was something weird about them. So to me, that's extraterrestrial stuff.
Could be. I think that could be. And maybe they're moving something around, but this is how they're doing it. Undercover. Somebody's doing something undercover. I mean, I'd rather it be something other than the UN, quite honestly. The UN scares me more than ETs.
Not the good guys, forget it.
Yeah, me too,
they're not the good guys.
Whatever it is, whatever it is, it's something super bizarre because it's just way beyond normal bizarre, the stuff that goes on out there. It just doesn't, you can't make sense of it no matter how you come at it. And extraterrestrials certainly fit in. And I know that. Well, those three women that I interviewed, they were driving back from Cottonwood. Cottonwood's about 20 miles from Sedona, and they were going past Forest Road 520, which is the big route into some of the canyon lands. So they saw, it looked like stadium lights. They thought it must be some kind of a rock concert or something. And they just, for the heck of it, they turned on Road 520 and drove back there. And I know exactly where they were, where they described it. And they were going along, and back then there was no traffic on that road. Now it's bumper to bumper, but there was no traffic. And so they came to a gate, and there's no guard gate there, no guard at the gate, and there's no gate on that road anywhere. So they got out, and they walked right by the gate and went up a ways, and I know exactly where this is. And there was all the lights, the stadium lights had everything lit up, and nobody bothered them, which is strange. But they said these these tractor trailer trucks were driving into the ground. And I said, and I said, well, huh. And they said the thing that really freaked us out was not the trucks, but the ramp they were driving into the ground on. However, I never got a chance to ask them what they meant by that, but that's what really freaked them out was the ramp. The ground opened up, and these big tractor trailer trucks were driving into the ground, and I know exactly where they were. And I've gone over there, after they told me about it and tried to figure it out and make some sense of it, but it just doesn't make any sense. No matter how you approach it, doesn't make any sense.
Let me ask you this: so when you went over there, you knew where they were. You didn't see any stadium lights. You didn't see any gate.
No, and no debris, really? and no debris where something might have been piled up. And that's the odd thing. These things never, because when I was at the Bradshaw Ranch, we had things happen. It should have left some kind of debris, pile of dirt or something, and there never was anything. So, for instance,
track of any sort.
Yeah. So for instance, I worked with Ancient Aliens for about 6 months, and they were going to do a video. The Forest Service shot them down big time because I was involved in it. Forest Service doesn't like me at all. So, yeah.
Are you a bad boy?
Yeah. So anyway, Ancient Aliens finally gave it up. But Linda Bradshaw and I were out. Everything that happened on the Bradshaw Ranch happened about within 100 feet of the front door of the ranch. It all happened right there, and the portal was near there, but it was about 20 feet off the ground. Things came out of that portal. So one night we were, and Ancient Aliens was going to reenact this. It would have been pretty cool. But the Bradshaws had 7 dogs on the ranch, because if a dog wandered onto the ranch, they'd keep it. A lost dog or whatever. So and the oceans have come and gone here 7 times, and the ranch is surrounded by beach sand, just like on an ocean. Yeah. So the dogs in the winter would dig into the sand to stay warm. In the summer, they dig into the sand. They bury themselves in the veranda, the sand, to stay cool. So Linda and I were standing there one night. All 7 dogs instantly jumped up and ran towards something, and there was a creature had been watching us probably for hours, and we had 3 million candle power spotlights, so we followed the dogs, and there was an apple orchard there that never worked. There was never enough rain. So anyway, the trees are still there, and there was a creature had been standing there by a fence post, probably watching us for hours. Because it was about 9:30 at night. And the creature started running, and it was about 5'7" and it was humanoid, but everything was brown. The clothes were brown, the skin was brown, the shoes were brown, everything was a brown, a light tan color. And the dogs, and it ran across the field. It never turned its face towards us. It kept its face it did not want us to see its face. And the dogs caught up to it right near a yucca plant. Yucca plants are pretty big. They're 8 feet tall. And the guy just disappeared. Poof, gone, just like that. And the dogs milled around, and came back. And so the next day, Linda and I went out there, and there were only dog tracks. So a million dog tracks, but there was nothing else. The guy didn't leave any tracks. So Linda and I fooled around, trying to, we saw exactly where the guy disappeared by the yucca plant. So we stuck my arms through, can you see my arms? Is it still there? We did that for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's another example of, these things just don't leave any residue. And I could tell a lot of stories about that stuff. I've been on
incredible.
Yeah. So I've been on. I figure I've been on so many radio shows now. I've had about 60 million listeners, and I talk about this crazy stuff all the time, and nobody criticizes me anymore. And I used to when I first started in this stuff about 30 years ago, I used to get attacked all the time by critics and skeptics and disbelievers. But nobody attacks me anymore because I can prove it. I usually have witnesses.
And not only that, but there's so many more people that are having these experiences and talking about it, trying to do photography as best they can. I mean, there's a famous photo taken by the lady hunter in the tree of something like a predator type creature that was in the trees. And she brought the photo back to her husband, who was an analyst, and he said there's no way this camera could have even taken this picture. It was a very odd thing, and it was on one of David Paulides' movies. But I mean, there's more and more people that do make use of that video camera or their cell phone, and they're capturing a lot of this crazy stuff, and it's, again, there's no real explanation. I think our shadow government knows a lot about what's going on, but they don't want to tell us.
No.
So.
Yeah.
Oh well.
I think the government. Yeah, I think the government knows a lot more than they dare to talk about it.
I agree.
A lot more.
I think you're right. Yeah, a lot more is right. But this convoy thing is spooky.
Yeah.
Incredible. That is incredible.
Has the media covered this at all yet out there?
Oh yeah. There's even NBC. Back when I was out there with the Bradshaws, every week there was a camera crew out there. I was with an NBC crew. I got to be the best friends with the producer because the crew got drunk, and I helped him get it straightened out. So So he and I got to be best of friends, and so we worked together for quite a while. And I guess somebody got to him because one day I called him up and he was scared to death. He said, "I can't talk to you anymore." And that was the end of it. But we were having a good time.
But is anybody covering the convoy stuff? Is anybody covering? This is recent. Nobody's covering it yet. Okay.
No, never. No, it was always. Almost always one person that saw it, But the thing of it is, I know they were telling the truth because it was so similar to the other stories that people told. And there was a subdivision out here that got bulldozed for a more expensive subdivision, but the guy Johnny that was taking care of it stood out there and watched this convoy go by him, and the road dead-ended half a mile from where he was. It went up a hill, and that was it. There was a house up there. So where the heck did all those trucks go? That just doesn't. It's crazy. But he saw them. He watched them go by. So
So they just disappeared.
Or went into something. Or went into something.
Amazing.
So
I was. Go ahead.
This is something that we should keep listening to you about, because you'll probably get some more information in the next couple of months about this. So if anybody dares take a photo, please send it. We want to show it to our audience.
Oh yeah, I'd like to see it too. Back in my day, when Linda, it was just me and Linda Bradshaw, we just had flashlights and 35 millimeter cameras. But some of these people these days have the most expensive scientific equipment you can buy, and they're using it out there. Like drones. These drones that have got these cameras on them that are phenomenal cameras. So they have stuff we never had. We used to. Linda and I begged and I remember Universal Studios was out there, and they saw the same things that Linda and I have been dealing with, and we talked to about 6 crews, and I told them, when you go back, tell your superiors what you saw, because we didn't have, we needed cameras, and they had those $100,000 cameras that would film at night,
right.
So they got shot down every single time. They would show these incredible videos that they got, but they got shot down every single time. We never could understand that, because we told them we need anything we can get, scientific, anything we can get, because the Bradshaws didn't have any money. I didn't have any money, so all we had were flashlights, 3 million candle power spotlights, and 35 millimeter point and shoot cameras. That's all we had. Digital cameras really did that would film at night didn't really exist then. They did towards the end. When we were done, we actually had one that would film at night, but we didn't. If we'd had the equipment, we could have filmed stuff that the world would be still talking about today.
Exactly. Now, who owns Bradshaw Ranch now?
Well, it's in ruins. The weeds are waist high, and the U.S. government owns it. They've leased it to the Forest Service, and the Forest Service has leased it to the University of Northern Arizona. So the University of Arizona is now. They 5 years ago they were going to do something with it. I think they read my books and it scared them to death, so they can't.
We'll just forget about that. Yeah. Oh my.
Yeah.
That's too bad though, because it's a hot spot.
Yeah. Well, they want to bulldoze it. Yeah, they want to bulldoze the ranch houses and build dormitories there. This was, I think, 7 years ago, and they've done nothing.
Well, it's probably smart they haven't. They would have kids disappearing, I would guess.
Yeah. So
I don't think the parents would like that.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you another one of my stories. How are we doing on time, by the way?
We have lots of time. So tell us more about Sedona and all of the supernatural things that are there, because we know the red rocks really create quite an energy system. But what makes Sedona so special?
Well, I've been asked that hundreds of times, but it has to do. The red rocks are there is magnetism, a strong magnetism here, but there's something else too that we don't. Nobody understands. But the red is rust. All those rocks, all these towering rocks around Sedona, it's rust because it's iron oxide. Yeah, the rocks it's iron oxide. If you scratch a red rock, it's white underneath. So it's got the only thing I've said, on all these shows I've been on is it's got to be something magnetic or something there that they're interested in, because I know where one of these bases is, and it's super dangerous. These underground installations. So I've quit talking about it because I know exactly where it is and how dangerous it is. So I just don't talk about it anymore. But it's there, and the guy that showed me was a counterintelligence expert, and the last time he was there, they called him up on the phone. They said, "You come back here again, and we will kill you." That's a quote.
Oh, what?
Oh, great.
Yeah. So I dropped it at that point. I'm too old to mess around with that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, Tom, generically speaking, what goes on in these installations underground? What are they doing?
Well, there were 4 police officers, active duty police, that were back when I was doing all this research, and they got into a couple of these bases, and some of I was involved with ex-CIA agents and military intelligence people, and they had some amazing experiences out there. These off-duty police, they were active duty police. Well, 2 different sets, and they got into one of these bases, and I know pretty much exactly where the opening was, but it's probably, we went up there on 105 degree with metal detectors, 105 degree day with metal detectors, and it's just, probably they were prepared for that. Probably everything around the opening was rubber or something like that, because we couldn't find anything with metal detectors. But the police got in there, and I know pretty much where the opening was, because what they described. They got down in there, and they said the tunnels were going everywhere. So they wandered around a little bit, and suddenly U.S. military swarmed out of the tunnels. And the thing about these military people is that they never, and I have friends that are colonels, high-ranking people, so I ask them about this stuff, and they never have insignia on their uniforms, never. They're all just camo stuff or whatever that. So anyway, they pointed their M16s at these 2 police, and they said, just turn around, backtrack, go back up the ladder, and forget what you saw. That happened twice. So in that case, there were no extraterrestrials, but I know there are other bases that, just by what people have told me, they've got to be extraterrestrial somehow.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So
there's something here that
either or both.
Yeah. Well, it is. It's both. It's either or both. And some of them, just by how people talk about them, I don't know. I don't really know exactly where they are, but they have to be extraterrestrial. And and what are they up to? There's something there, and History Channel pretty much proved that the U.S. military is highly involved in that stuff out there. But they
I got to bring this up. Even though you're an expert in Arizona, I know you've been other places as well. Now, a few years back, PK and I discussed this mysterious event that happened in New Mexico. Remember this one, PK, with the observatory?
Yes, I do.
They shut down this observatory in New Mexico, and they shut down the whole town. And they also wouldn't tell the police chief anything about what was going on. The place was swarmed by black helicopters, and there was no information that they let out about what was really going on there. Now, some people were saying, the telescope happened to catch some UFOs, going across the sun. I don't think that was it. But one of the other things that happened at the same time was there was a Belgian tourist, and he was found dead at a trailhead. Now, my contact told me that his body was never released to his relatives, ever. And so, of course, we were conversing with a lot of people. What did happen then? Did one of the ETs, an unfriendly ET, get out and then either on purpose or accidentally encountered this tourist and killed him? What was going on there? So I don't know. Do you know anything about that event? Because nothing has ever been forthcoming. Nothing has come out about it.
I know a number of similar ones. And actually, in Sedona, I've talked about this a lot. There are about 3 dozen. I call them machine gun incidents in Sedona. The people were I'm not going to talk about this because I can't prove it. People say, "Well, have you been to the police or something like that?" But they have found dead bodies. They shouldn't have been dead. And in Sycamore Canyon. Sycamore Canyon is a beautiful canyon here, but it's dangerous. There's something in that canyon. And incidentally, just like this just ended about a week ago on the Bradshaw Ranch, and Ron James is involved in it. He's a famous producer, From the Bradshaw Ranch, there was these amber flashes of light coming from the ranch that lit up the whole sky. Yellowish. So they filmed it. Evidently, Ron got some good film of it. He's making the documentary about it. So that's going to be, he's the one that just had that famous film, Accidental Truth, I think it's called. So anyway, Sycamore Canyon, that's been seen for, I'm very leery of Sycamore Canyon. It's a beautiful canyon. You got a big river in it, way bigger than Oak Creek in Sedona. And flashes of light have been seen coming out. And I was with two other people one time, and we saw a petrodactyl fly out of Sycamore Canyon. And I said, yeah. Wow. I said, am I nuts? Or do you guys see this? I mean, three witnesses. Do you see that too? Because when I first saw it, it was bouncing up and down like when it was flying, and I thought, man, if that's a helicopter, that's pretty weird. And one girl had much better. A girl had much better eyesight than I did. She said, "Yeah, it's a petrodactyl," and then it dived straight into the ground, straight down at high speed, right into the ground, and it came out of Sycamore Canyon. So I've seen a lot of things fly out of Sycamore Canyon, and there's been some strange UFO activity, alien activity, and Bigfoot, particularly Bigfoot.
Oh, Bigfoot too.
Oh yeah. We've had a lot of Bigfoot activity around here lately, and two of my friends have been investigating it, and they've got the tracks and everything, and they photograph the tracks and everything. So if you want to have one of them on the show, I can give you his phone number after we're off. He'd love to be on the show, your show.
Yeah, sure. But you're talking about a pterodactyl, right? This is like a kind of Jurassic Park bird, but it's huge.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you something. People have seen a pterodactyl here in New England, and it was over a reservoir. Yep, there was a sighting, and it was reported in the news. And they said, this is what we saw, this huge pterodactyl. So those are so fascinating, those types of sightings, because, I mean, what are we seeing? Again, are we seeing a shift in dimensions, reality, or are those things something that never really died with the rest of the dinosaurs? But, they've been spotted here.
Well, I've been studying Bigfoot. Yeah. I've been studying Bigfoot since I was 16 years old. I know a lot about big feet, and they're around everywhere in the world. Different types, in different countries, and the ones they call them yowies in Australia, and evidently they've been seen much more lately. And some of the photographs are genuine. Most of them are hoaxed. Some guy in a floppy, bear suit or something. But a few of them are genuine. So and what are they? And I was just in a documentary about Bigfoot. A friend of mine, he does documentaries, and I said, what is it? Why is it Bigfoot? Nobody's ever caught one. Nobody's ever killed one. I mean, not that they should, but all around they've been seen everywhere in the world, and even in Maine. When I was in Maine, growing up in Maine, they were seen in Maine. Bigfoot, big ones. Yeah. So what are these things? I mean, they can appear and disappear. And I met a guy. He's probably the world expert on Bigfoot. We got into an argument right off. He stalked off and said, "See you later." Of course, I won't mention his name, but. I said, I have seen the tracks. I've seen them appear, go 100 yards, and disappear. So whatever this thing was can materialize and dematerialize. And that's when he got, he said, no way, and he stomped off. But I could prove it. I've seen it, and I've got guide friends that I have a couple of people that are almost professional Bigfoot researchers. They've seen the same thing. These things can materialize and dematerialize, and they can probably stay invisible when they're standing right next to you. So
we've heard that from a lot of our guests who are involved with us. Exactly that. That they are somehow interdimensional and they can come and go like that. But we've also heard that they can materialize and be in physical form, but then they can also be hurt. They can be shot. They can be harmed. So you can see why they wouldn't really want to do that around people. But we've heard a lot of stories about Bigfoot being able to move dimension, and that's what they do, and they stay safe that way. And then we can't find their bodies. So very interesting creatures, Bigfoot. But it seems like there's more than one kind. I mean, there's the friendly ones that are helpful. Then there's the nasty ones that would just steal your children and eat them. So it's not just one type.
No. Well, I interviewed a woman from Oklahoma, and she was just, a everyday wife, with 3 kids, just absolutely, had a normal life, normal husband. She wasn't crazy, but she said we had a big ranch in Oklahoma, and there was a Bigfoot family, and I know a couple of other people that have the same situation going on right now. They said we had a Bigfoot family living on the ranch, and they would come and visit us, and they could speak English. And that's not the first time I've heard that. And the female Bigfoot, she would give the female Bigfoot books, and the Bigfoot would read them and then critique them, say what she liked them or not. So and I've heard that more than one time. So you're right. There's different kinds of them, and some of them are just animals. I mean, I got to keep track of time because my stories. But I'll tell you a story. Now this happened. I was on an interview on a show, and the host, and I won't say who it was, but he asked his manager, says, "Can we talk about this on the radio?" And he said, "Yeah, go ahead." So he'd never talked about it before, but they were in British Columbia. He had been a professional photographer, and this is a true story. And they were filming some stuff in northern British Columbia, and they saw a bear on the other side of this little lake, and then the bear stood up, and they realized this thing was about 10 feet tall, and it was looking straight at them. And then it started to run. And it started to run around the lake, so they figured, well, we better beat it out of here real fast. So they made a dead run back to the car, and the Bigfoot, they said it smelled so bad we almost couldn't breathe. And so the guy, so he said the Bigfoot picked up a big rock because they were trying to get into the car, and it was his wife's brand new car, and it smashed the driver's side fender with this big rock. And I said, so what did you do? You went home and you told your wife a Bigfoot smashed her fender with a rock, right?
Oh, no. What a naughty Bigfoot. He got this guy in trouble. Oh, geez.
Yeah. So,
but they're known for that. They're known for throwing rocks, and sometimes they actually do hit their mark. So, I mean, that's not a nice thing to do. So that's not a friendly Bigfoot. But then, and there's stories from long ago from Indian tribes having battles with some of them because their women and children were being taken.
Yeah.
Right.
So, there seems to be many different, or at least several different kinds out there. And, who knows where they go when they go into another dimension. That's my question. What dimension do they go to? Where do they disappear into? Yeah, where are they going?
Where did they come from?
Yeah.
Well, exactly. Here in Sedona, we've had 3 dogmen sightings. I interviewed all 3 people in this whole area, Village of Oak Creek, and it was clearly, one woman said she said that it was a dogman was looking in the window at her, and dogman's eyes glow. They glow orange or red. Bigfoot's eyes don't glow. A dogman's eyes glow without any light shined on them. She said the thing was just looking in the window at her, and I know the woman well, and then up the road might have been the same dogman, but It crossed the road right in front of her car during broad daylight, 2:00 in the afternoon, and it was a dogman. And my opinion is that dogmen are werewolves. And I just got through. I was on a show in England, and we talked about it a lot. And he says, "You guys in some parts of England have a lot of werewolf sightings. It's strange black dog stuff, And so we talked about it, and I'm convinced they're werewolves, and that dogmen and Bigfoot do not get along at all.
Oh, they don't. Okay.
No, not at all. Yeah. So they're two completely different creatures. So yeah.
There was
Pretty
an
bizarre.
excellent reenactment of a werewolf story on Paranormal Witness, which is a UK-based production group, but they produced a lot of these shows for sci-fi. And one of them was about a werewolf. And I'll tell you what, it was so well done. Such a great production, but scary as heck. I mean, this was, in my opinion, if they reported the truth, and I know that they did, this was a real werewolf. This was a guy who worked at this automotive store, but he was a weird one, and he lived in a house by himself, and they eventually tracked this guy to this house and saw chains, that he had chained himself up. There were scratches on the wall. There was no personal identifying information anywhere, and no food. It was just, I highly recommend anybody who's interested in werewolves, watch that Paranormal Witness. It was an incredible story, and it was very well told. But yeah, I mean, the fact that these things do exist, and I agree with you, I think that they do. But there's so little known about them. And have they ever attacked anyone? Is there any documented or any stories about that? Because I've heard mixed feelings on that one.
Yeah. In this country,
so
there's been about 8 people. Yeah. Oh, yeah. In this country, there've been about 8 people killed by dogmen.
Killed? Oh my!
Yeah, killed.
Know that.
And hung in trees. A whole family, I think it was in Pennsylvania. Yeah.
Oh wow!
A whole family that was camping in a big Winnebago. They found them hanging in trees, and they were cut.
Now
to
I've
pieces.
heard this, but I thought it was a Bigfoot that did it. But you're saying no, it was a dogman.
No, it was a dogman. And what happens is when a dogman kills a human, the government shows up with all kinds of technical equipment and machine guns, going to the woods. So
they're going to try to track that then.
Yeah. Evidently, they're a rogue Bigfoot. Rogue dogmen that they won't, what they won't tolerate. Somehow the government knows about all this stuff that we don't know about.
Yeah. There was a guy that we had on the show. He used something to change his voice, but he claimed to work at one of these facilities where they have some of these creatures, and he's offered to come back on and talk about more about all of this. But I wouldn't be surprised if this shadow government or whomever they are have captured several of these, and they have them and they're studying them or whatever. But again, with Dogman, he doesn't seem to have the same ability to disappear that Bigfoot does, or does he?
Yeah.
Can they disappear as well?
I don't know. I don't know that much about dogmen, but it can be. The biggest and worst ones are in Central Texas, and if I had a ranch in Texas, I wouldn't go anywhere at night without at least a 12-gauge shotgun. the biggest and worst ones are in Central Texas. Yeah. So.
And are they tribal, or are they lone wolves, or what are they like? Because I know with Bigfoot they tend to be in tribes, but what about Dogman?
No, Dogmen seem to be loners. They as far as I know, they've never been seen with another dogman. And I've heard. I spent a year researching dogmen, so I know a lot about them.
Yeah.
Do they have any type of family unit? Do they have any type of a family unit that they deal with?
No, I don't know about dogmen, but Bigfoot, of course, does. I mean, they're very, very.
Right.
family oriented. Yeah. How much time do we have? How much time do we have left?
As much as you want.
Okay.
You got
I want to play
story?
something.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I want to play. I want to play something for you. This is
okay.
now, this is not my. This was taken by recorded by a bunch of people in Sedona that were on a UFO tour, and it turned up on their cell phones, and but they didn't see anything. They didn't. So, but this is what turned up on their cell phone. So I'll play it for you. And This is not my video. It's a guy named John Polk. This is his. So anyway, here it goes. It's pretty wild.
All right, we're listening.
Yeah. Okay. Boop.
So what is that, Tom?
I don't know.
That doesn't sound like any wildlife that I've known about in Sedona. What is that?
No, I got to turn this thing off. Come on. No, I don't know. I have no idea. But there were about 13 people on this UFO tour. They all got that on their cell phone, so they didn't see anything. They didn't. There was nothing there. So it's pretty weird.
That is. I mean, have you brought that to anybody who's an expert in sound that could rule things out?
Yep.
And what do they say?
Yep. Actually, he sent it to Stanford University to analyze it. They have a vast database of strange things, strange creatures, and he never heard back from them.
Oh, darn.
He's oh crap! Now I can't think of his name. I know him. Jim Dilatoso, famous researcher. Years ago, he's pretty much retired now, but he sent it to Stanford, and he never heard back from him.
Oh, darn it! Well, that's very odd because at first I thought it sounded almost like a lot of bats together with the high pitched noise, but then it just kept circling around, and it almost sounded mechanical.
Yeah, well, there's a whirring sound in the background that almost sounds like a UFO.
Right.
And it sounds like two creatures, a big creature and a small creature fighting. That's what it sounds like to me.
Huh. Weird. How interesting. Well, Tom, you have the most exciting life.
Yes, it does.
You really do.
Yeah, well, sometimes. but my stuff is real different. How much time do we have left?
We can go for another 10 minutes. Is that okay for you?
Yeah, I want to tell you a story. I was on I was just on Coast to Coast for 3 hours, and I talked about this. And I'm a remote viewer. I was born with a pretty acute remote viewing ability. And the missing 411, David Paulides.
Yes.
I watched the video, missing 411, and I so anyway, I tracked some of those people that disappeared, and there's been a lot. There's been thousands.
Yeah, there have
been. Now they're even telling people, keep your kids in front of you. Don't let them stay behind you. Don't let them.
Right.
You got to watch them all the time. So.
Yeah.
The two. Well, I'm not going to talk about what I was just thinking about. So anyway. There was a guy, I watched the film, and so I knew exactly where this guy, he was a deer hunter, where he disappeared. So I went there, remote viewing, and so I tracked him. I followed him, and so I've done this before. I've done this a bunch of times. And most of those people have been found dead. So the ones they found them dead. So
right.
So anyway, I was taught how to do this when I was a student at the Berkeley Psychic Institute. I can follow a trail. I've done it many times. Follow a trail of somebody that, that was thinking of you or whatever. Things leave trails. So anyway, I'm following this guy, and I'm going faster and faster and faster, and I got stopped. Somebody slammed my brakes on. And there was a block in front of me. This is a long story, but I learned a long time ago to get past these psychic blocks that all remote viewers have run into them. But I know how to get around them. In fact, I was when General Stubblebine was doing a big seminar in Denver about 20 years ago. Some of the best remote viewers in the world were there, and nobody knew how to get past these blocks, but I did. I wanted to raise my hand and say, I know. So anyway, I got stopped, and a voice said, "This is as far as you go." And I'm looking at the block, and I knew how to get around it. And then the voice said, "Don't even try it." But what was it? What was it that whoever they were didn't want me to see? What was on the other side of that block that they they didn't want me to see? Was it something more horrible or more wonderful than we can imagine? But I said that I'll challenge any remote viewer to go past one of those blocks and see what's there. If you really do it. And so what was it? What was it? And what if I'd have tried? What would that thing have done to me? So I said, no, I'm not gonna I'm gonna skip it. I just after that. Don't even try. I said. I thought, no, I'm not going to do it. So anyway, what was behind that block? That was, whoever that voice was didn't want me to see it. Why? What is it? What was it? That was a big mystery.
And maybe you could have determined where that person was and attempted a rescue. Who knows? But these people that have gone missing are very troubling. These are very troubling experiences, and certainly leave the families with no resolution at all. And I wake up at night sometimes thinking about all this stuff with these people that are gone. Where did they go? But it seems like there may be several answers. Different people are having different experiences, whether they pass through a portal, whether they're taken by ETs, or, I mean, sometimes they return them, like Carl Higdon, who was the Wyoming hunter that went out to hunt elk one day and encountered he and his wife have been on the show talking about his experience. It's been, and yet they brought him back. But when they brought him back, and this is, I think, very, very important information, they kind of dumped him out of the bottom of their ship, and he fell. And he hurt his shoulder really badly. Now, other people, I think, have been dumped as well, but they hit their head. And they die. So, it's like it's an interesting thing to watch. It's like we're being treated like animals. We're nothing to them. So they're like done with him. We'll just dump him out the bottom of the spaceship. It's like, thanks a lot. So it's a mixed bag here, and I think that's why there's no one answer to a lot of what goes on with these people. And it's very sad. It's very sad for their friends and family left behind. But that's interesting. You encountered a block. When you say you encountered a block, it's like a big what? A big black spot or a big?
No, it's just like a wall.
Just a wall.
And
okay.
I learned early on how to get around them. You know, when I was listening to General Stubblebine in Denver, he said we none of us know how to get around that block. I learned how to get around it early. So you know, I don't do that stuff much anymore. I'm just too old to fool around with that kind of stuff. When I was younger, I used to be known as being really reckless with stuff that I did because I something protects me. It's either spiritual or extraterrestrial. I'm being protected by something extremely powerful. So you know, I've said so many times something could have happened to me and it didn't. So you know, I've been reckless, but I'm kind of retired now from all that.
Yeah, retired reckless. Okay.
Right.
That's probably smart.
but it's interesting. I'll tell you what. I can still. I've just had offers for people just to write a book on my stories, my life stories.
You should.
They said it'll be a bestseller, and I said, yeah. Well, I've had that. You know, hundreds of people have mentioned that to me, but I don't have the ambition to do it anymore. But if I was younger, I would. But I've you know, my stories are a big hit because I can prove it. Most of the stuff I talk about, I can prove it. I'm not just blowing steam out of my ears. I can prove it.
Well, not
one
only
way or
that,
another.
but Tom, you're a really good storyteller, and it's, you know, what you are saying. We sit on the edge of our seats waiting to hear your next story. So we love it.
Yeah.
You know, we don't even need proof. We're just enjoying your company and your experiences so very much. I mean, you're just delightful, and you've been around a long time, and you've witnessed a lot of things. You know, a lot of things. So believe me, we respect you, and we just love having you here with us. We really do. But we probably should wind up the show, and we'll have to just have you back again. That's all.
Okay.
But thank you so much for being with us tonight and telling us all about these vanishing convoys. That'll be something I wake up and think about. So anyways, if you get any more information on that, let us know. We'll keep reporting back to our audience, okay?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So this has been great, Tom. Thanks again. And next week, everybody, we have Dr. Carmine Crispino. He was on Travel Channel's Haunted Hospitals. He's got quite a story to tell, so don't miss it. And until then, everybody, we will see you on the Blue Highway. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Night.
Thanks for listening. Tune in next week for another radio adventure with Supernatural.